Hey guys, and welcome back to another Wednesday video. So I wanted to talk to some of you guys on my Instagram story. So I asked a question basically saying what do you want to know about me? And then once again, I got so many responses that it just made sense to do a Q&A. So that's kind of the theme for today's Q&A, just things that people said that they wanted to know about me or wanted me to talk about more. Going through the questions because there are so many and I can't emphasize that enough. Also, because I'm going to put the questions on the screen and some of them are different colors just for a point. I did some in red and then some in white, when I asked on the post. So yeah, that's why they're different colors. So let's start with the most popular question that I received, which is basically on the lines of, what are your plans for after you graduate? What are your plans after uni? Good question. I obviously wanted to go traveling this summer, but that's not going to happen, which is fine. So actually, I'm just going to use this summer as more of a touch base, figure out what I want to do, continue learning a language, exercising more, and just kind of focusing on me and the things that I like and things I want to do whilst I've got this time in lockdown to really be able to do that. And then in September, hopefully, I'll be moving to London because I am going to be doing a master's in medical ethics and law at King's College London. So really excited for that actually. That's kind of my area of law that I'm enjoying at the moment and kind of I'm interested in. So yeah, the whole course is centred around that, and that's a year master's course. So I'll be in London hopefully from September to July 2020 to 2021. So then after my master's, I want to have a gap year. I don't really know what I'm going to do in that gap year. I know I definitely want to travel, I want to write a book, but other than that it's kind of free flowing, which I think is good for me because I normally like a lot of structure. So to have a year to just breathe and recollect myself will be really beneficial for me. So that's kind of the plan for the next 2 years. So moving on from that, but it's kind of linked. A lot of people, they've asked about which LPC they think I'm going to do, or have I got a training contract, and what area of law I want to go into, all of that. So to address that, I'm not going into law. I'm going to make a whole video as to why I don't want to be a lawyer. That will come out probably over the summer. One about my masters, I suppose. What are you most excited about for medical law? I'm actually just looking forward to having a change of environment, and the cohort for that masters is very different to an undergraduate cohort. So for example, here at York, there's 200 people in my year. They're basically all the same age. They're all my age of 20 to 22. There's a few people that are mid-20s, but that's pretty much it. Whereas for my masters, there's going to be 30 of us, if that. The ages are more, older. So the average age on the master's course is more 30s, 40s. A lot of people on that course are lawyers or doctors, so basically professionals who then want to come back after practicing and get a bit more knowledge on that niche area, which I really prefer. I'm looking forward to being in a more mature environment and a more dedicated and structured environment than that you typically get of being around 20-year-olds. Not to say that knocking 20-year-olds or anything, but I just think I kind of am looking forward to being in a more serious environment than one that is focused on more going out and stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I think in terms of academic study, I'm quite excited about taking my topic of my dissertation and expanding that further, looking into more bioethics and capacity and things like that. Things that I've kind of touched on in my final year of uni, but going into more detail and expanding on that really. Okay, what is your dream job? This has been asked so much, and I know I've alluded to it in quite a few of my Q&As and my videos, but I'm pretty much finished with uni now, so I feel I'm gonna say what it is. So this kind of is twofold, okay? The first is I want to be an author. It's always been one of them things that I've thought about but never really found the time or the right topic to write about. So this summer I want to write a book, and then in my gap year I want to write a book. And then the other part is I want to be a doctor. So, I know quite a few of you probably would have guessed, because I've been so focused on medical law and I've been working at the hospital and things like that. It's kind of pointed in that direction for quite a while. It's a long story. I'll make a video on it basically in a few weeks' time explaining it. And I'm kind of looking forward to taking you all on the journey in a couple of years' time for when I actually apply and go through that whole process. So yeah, that's my dream job. Finally answered that question, I know. If you could live abroad, which country would you prefer? So I have lived abroad. I lived in Africa for quite a few years, and I've kind of spent an extended amount of time in the States and stuff as well. But where would I live? Do you know, I think it ultimately depends on, am I just some rich millionaire and I'm living in that country and just vibing? Or am I living in that country and working? Because there'll be two different answers. So if I'm just vibing, then it probably will be either Mexico or a Caribbean island, maybe Barbados, maybe Cuba. But if I'm actually going to have to like work, then I'm probably going to say America, purely because obviously I've been to America tons. I love America, it's a great country. And they speak English, so, you know, that helps. Do you miss uni? No. Again, I'll be making a video about this. I want to make a big old video about recapping on my third year, about recapping on my uni experience more generally. But no, basically, in a summary, first year absolutely loved, second year bit shit, third year even more shit. So I'm happy to leave, to be honest, and I will be leaving in a week. So yeah, I'm over it basically now. I just want to move on. Oh, this is actually another common question, which is interesting to me. Why did you go from like film to law? Why did I switch? I started studying film knowing that I would not pursue film as a career, not pursue that as a university degree. At the time, obviously, I was doing YouTube, but I was like dabbling with YouTube. And I wanted to learn more and kind of just do it as a self-interest thing. It was something I wanted to do and wanted to just know more about and fulfill it more as a hobby. But also I knew that if I did that qualification in film, that I could potentially go to uni and do a more, you know, academic subject if I wanted to. So basically I studied film for 2 years because I wanted to, and I enjoyed it, and it was a really good time. I did enjoy being in London and studying film. And then I switched to law, probably for the wrong reasons. Going off that is another similar question. Did you always want to study law, what subjects were you interested in when you were younger? So the first part of that question, did I always want to study law? No. I think, to be honest, I came to studying law when I was about 15. Basically, after my injury, I had a whole epiphany of like, what am I going to do with my life? And I was like, right, I'm going to study film for a bit, and then I'm going to get more serious and do like a proper degree, serious degree. It's funny because I think I went into law for the wrong reasons, but the reasons why I don't want to do law are why I went into it, if that makes any sense. I remember when I was picking my degree, I thought, right, I want to do something that's going to make me money, that's going to be like corporate-y and like one of the big top jobs, do you know what I mean? I remember in my head I was like accountant, banker, lawyer, engineer or doctor. Maths is out, so that's banking, accountant and engineer gone, isn't it? And then being a doctor, obviously I'd done a film BTEC, so that was kind of like a no-go as well. So really all that was left was law, and then obviously the more research I did into that area, the more I thought, oh, maybe actually I am interested in this. But it's funny because when I actually did law, obviously as a degree, and I did all my work experience, I realised that actually I don't want a job that's really high powered and like gives me lots of money. I want to do something that's more fulfilling and something that like makes me want to get up for work in the morning, and just money wasn't it. So I find that kind of a bit funny. But what subjects were you interested in when you were younger? I think at school, do you know, I absolutely loved religious education at school, really liked it. I had a really, really good teacher. He was Mr. Harrison. He was amazing. And he just made me really like love the subject. I didn't really like any subjects at school, to be honest, other than RE. I think it was more like the environment of school though. Like I didn't really love it. And I think growing up, the things I was really interested in, like as a child and as like preteen, being creative and like drawing and like singing, playing instruments, writing music and like reading, that was it. That was me sorted. Those are things I couldn't really do at school. Like even music lessons at school were so regimented that it kind of sucked the fun out of it. How's your lockdown going? Is it bad to say that I actually secretly really, really love lockdown? I know the reasons why we're in lockdown are awful, but the actual concept of lockdown and the way it feels every day, I'm loving it. Like, it's make your own day every day. It's basically like being self-employed. I can do what I want when I want, and I'm my own boss. I absolutely love it. Did you have a job during university? God, I had so many jobs during uni. If we take away YouTube, because I don't really class this as a job. Like, it is a job because I get paid for it, but I wouldn't really say it's like a full-time job. I was a student ambassador for my department, so I did all the open days, stuff like that, and I know I've met quite a few of you doing the open days, which is always lovely. I was brand ambassador for like so many things, civil service, a law firm. I did Barbary, which is like a conversion law company. So many brand ambassador bits because they're really flexible, and I definitely recommend doing those at uni. And then I also got summer internships too. So basically I always have a job. Oh, okay. How did you manage to get work experience at top law firms? Jesus, I'm gonna have to pull up my list. I write a list of all the things that I get, so I remember, because honestly there's quite a lot. So I did work experience in chronological order at Owen Mitchell, Ward Hadaway, Slaughter and May, the CPS, Clifford Chance, I did 2 mini pupilages, and BCLP. So there's quite a few. Mainly, so the Ward Hadaway, Owen Mitchell, Clifford Chance, they were all mentor schemes. So I just applied for them through my university. We got sent an email, and then it was basically a mentoring scheme where someone rang you up every week asking how your legal career is going. Mine was always non-existent, and then you did a bit of work experience as well. So for more things like Slaughter and May and the mini pupilages, they were like schemes. I just applied, put my CV forward, got it, went, cool. The BCLP one was, I was a BCLP law brand ambassador. Then they give you 3 days of work experience in a department of your choice. So I did it in, I think, corporate finance. I'm just like scanning. Okay, these are some more light-hearted ones, I suppose. So your favourite songs and bands. I feel like my favourite songs change all the time. In the description of all my videos, I always say like a few songs I'm loving that week. So look for those, I suppose, if you want to know like favourite songs. Favourite bands. My music taste is so varied. I like all music except the music I don't like. I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to pull up what I've listened to in the past week, artist-wise, and I'll read it out. Adele, Dizzy Rascal, Catfish and the Bottommen, James Morrison, Craig David, Charlie Puth, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Fleetwood Mac, Avril Lavigne, OG, Nickelback. I don't understand why there's hate on Nickelback. I actually love Nickelback, but another story for another day, isn't it? Some older stuff like U2, Radiohead, Snow Patrol, also love Snow Patrol, Ben Howard, Billy Joel, Earth, Wind, Fire. I actually have a secret, like, I love Earth, Wind, Fire, and it's such a guilty pleasure. Like Crowded House, James, Elton John, Carly Simon, Foreigner. Honestly, my music taste is so varied. It will go from stuff like that to Tame Impala, The Neighbourhood, Justin Bieber, whatever. So I listen to anything really. So my recently played contains 175 songs. This is all the music I've listened to in the past few days. It's a lot. Oh, we're getting deep with this one. Okay, what do you like and dislike about yourself? So I'm gonna split this into 2. So like the physical and then the mental. So in terms of what do I like, physically, to be honest, I do like most things about me. And that's not to say like, oh, I love everything about myself. It's just more of I've spent a long time just accepting like this is what you got, you know? And if you don't like it, change it. And that's kind of what I've done for a lot of things. So the only things I don't really like is just like, I think natural for every female my age is just like hips, stomach, needs toning up. Well, once it gets toned up, I'll be fine with it, but I'm in the process of toning that up. I've literally spent the last 8 weeks specifically focusing on that area because I know I'm not really like fond of it, to tone it up. Mental, I think what I like is I feel like I'm a lot stronger than what people perceive me as. I've always been kind of met with the perception that like, oh, you're young, you know, you're blonde, you're a female, you're not really going to be capable of much. And I feel like actually, and there's a lot of stuff obviously don't talk about on this channel, and I have been through quite a lot that has made me quite mentally resilient. So I would say that's probably one of my things that I like about myself mentally. And also I have the ability to just crack on. Like when it comes to the crunch, and it's right, you've got to stay up for 30 hours and do this reading, or right, okay, you've got to do this really long exercise you don't want to do, like doing things you don't want to do but you know they're beneficial for yourself, that like short-term pain, long-term gain type thing, I do have the ability to just go, right, crack on then. So I like that about myself. Dislike mentally, what don't I like about myself mentally? Do you know what, I don't necessarily think it's something I dislike, but it's something that I think gets in the way of living my life, is that I'm quite a sensitive person, and I think that does have its upsides because I'm very in touch with my emotions, but at the same time, I'm that type of person that in an argument, or basically any time I feel emotion, whether it's in an argument or I want to try and express how I feel about somebody, or to be honest, just watching a television advert, I'm a crier. I do kind of get a bit like, oh, and there are times when I sit and think, oh, I wish be that person in an argument, or like trying to like articulate yourself to get your point across, who can just say it and isn't like bogged down by that like cloud of emotion. But I get quite like caught up in it. Oh, relationships. Okay, I actually will answer this. Why not? We're here, we're being personal, we're being open. Let's answer it, because there's something normally I'd avoid, but it's only because there's not really much to say on it. So how many relationships have you ever had? Stroke, do you have a boyfriend? There are a few questions people have asked. How many relationships have I ever had? Realistically, like none, like proper relationships. And I think that's more just because my mentality around dating is very different, I suppose, to a lot of people's. Like I am the type of person who wants to date to marry. I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want just somebody like to date and we'll see how it goes. I want someone knowing that they're going to be very long term and that I'm going to commit to them fully and they're going to commit to me fully, and it's going to be like a marriage type thing. And I'm not saying I want to get married like tomorrow, but I'm just saying like I want a serious relationship. And to be honest, it's been a combination of just like not meeting the right person. There've been a few people that I've met and I've thought, oh, maybe, but it's always been like something missing. It's been like a 90% type thing. It's never 100%. And also just me, I'm so busy. I have so many things I want to do in my life and I'm always sort of like here, there and everywhere. Like me now, I'm in York, then I'm going to be in London, then I'm going to be traveling for a year, then God knows where I'll be. I can't really be having a relationship knowing I want something long term when I'm not really settled. So I think that's really why, like, to be honest, I haven't pursued anything. Like I am open to the idea, but at the same time, if it happens to happen, doesn't, I'm not bothered. I don't feel like my life will be any more enriched or whatever, like having someone there. I'm quite happy how I am. And to be honest, this is what I always think, you know, about when people have boyfriends at uni. How do you have the time? Honestly, think of all that time and effort you're putting into a boyfriend. Like, I don't have that time in the week. I really don't. It's like therapy, this is. Oh my gosh. Like, how many and which of the countries you have visited? Oh God, let me think about it. How many? I don't actually know how many, but it'll be in double figures easy. For the gist, America, all of Western Europe, bit of Africa, obviously all of the UK. Yeah, and then the Caribbean islands. I have done quite a bit of travelling, but it is a mixture of I am the type of person who loves to travel, and also growing up, like my mum's job, she travelled. So did you like your vegan challenge? I wasn't really a challenge. If anyone follows me on Instagram, like I don't really post on Instagram, but I post every day on stories. So I think it's worth following me just for that, right? But if you follow me on there, you'll know that I basically have been going through a phase of trying to, not necessarily go vegan, but try veganism. I don't have dairy anyway. That's more just for like health reasons. So yeah, so without the dairy, and I don't eat red meat and I don't eat fish, it's not really a big jump to go veggie or to go vegan. I mean, I do have meat still. I do have white meat because it's just hard. But yeah, but I probably only eat meat like twice a week and the rest of the time veggie, vegan, whatever. Like the reason I did it was because I wanted to try new foods and just see if I liked it and see if I kind of saw any physical differences within myself and within how I felt in my health. And I did, to be honest. I felt much more like light and like fit and to have more energy. So I definitely would recommend it. 2 more questions and then I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay, there are also quite a few questions about whether I'm applying to the civil service this year, which I am. Obviously I did my internship last year. I got the fast pass, which if you don't know, it allows you to jump all of the application process. So you just go to the assessment centre, which basically saves you 2 or 3 months, because the application process for the internship is basically the same as the fast stream. So they allow you to jump it if you do well on the internship. So yeah, I had my fast pass, so I'm gonna be using that because I didn't use it last year. And yeah, I'm going to apply, and if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. We're going to see where that takes us, basically. Final question is, I'm going to York Uni to do law in September. Do you have any advice? My advice would be, you know what, make the most of it. Don't bother so much about your studies in first year. Do all your work, but don't stress yourself out. And just have a really good time, especially after this pandemic lifts. And if you do get to actually come to uni in September, make the most of that first year, meet as many people as you can, see and do as much as you can. The one thing I wish I'd done more at uni is like go to societies and like try new things. And then they do like these taster weeks where you can just like rock up and try all different things in a week. And also like travel more around the north. Like all I really did is went to Scarborough, Leeds and Newcastle. But like I've been here for 3 years, you know what I mean? So I'd have loved to just like travelled a bit more around Yorkshire and seen it, so I definitely recommend doing that. And yeah, just have a really good time. Best of luck really to you. So this has been a long one. I'm very aware that this video is probably going to be like 25 minutes long, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was a bit more insightful, I guess, into me and answering all the questions that you guys wanted to know about me. I will see you on Saturday. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.